Hi, Virgo. Alright, I thought we sit outside. And I wanted to sit in the sun, but all the places that it was sunny, I felt too exposed. So I decided to sit under the shade of this tree, hemlock tree. Okay. You actually received the same card as Pisces. Here, actually. Hold on a second. Just like an optical illusion today. I like it. Alright, so I'm going to read this one. Hold on. That's a good spot. Well, this Pisces, so let's talk about it for a second. Pisces had this card which is about look out at the sky. But for them, it's look out at the sky outside your window. Now that we're in your energy, we actually went back outside. So it says look for all the variations of color and light that you can see. Maybe there are clouds and they are moving. Maybe the light in the sky is changing. Maybe the stars are just about to appear. Look, watch, and breathe. You're right here. You keep looking at the sky, and I'll go grab the cards and actually get out of the shadow and sit in the light. I'll be right back. I'm pretty sure people already know that like some weird lady lives around these parts. The one who's always talking to the trees and, the birds and such. Okay, so look out at the sky. Alright, so we're actually taking the advice. Good. Now that we've gotten out of the shadow, let's actually see what the shadow was about, or what that's about. Oh, vision. Vision. Can you see that? Vision. Let's read that. That's people coming out of the light, or out of the darkness towards the light. Good. Vision comes after the veil. Virgo, this is so interesting. I did your reading yesterday afternoon, and it had the veil in it, which is a person that was just succumbed by their own shadow and the parts of them that hate themselves, and just these other lifetimes wrapped up in the mind. Other times wrapped up in the mind. And we talked about depression and melancholy. Earth is that. Earth is cold. It needs warmth. And that's what this vision seems like too, is something is drawing something in. So the shadow of this shadow card is about regret and looking back over one's shoulder. This shadow, now that we step into the light, right, we got out of the shadow, we consciously got out of the house, got out of this internal place with walls, and explored, and we land in the shadow, and then we get out of that shadow and we go into the light, and this is where we gain insight and inspiration, where we feel more committed to our decisions as we put one foot in front of the other, right? If one is seeking insight through inner vision, it is a good idea to calm and to quiet the mind and remove any preconceived notions held about that subject or that situation. Try to approach the subject as if it were completely new to you. Look inwards and observe your own relationship with it. Do your feelings and emotions affect your view? Remove the impulse to describe what you see with language and allow the subject to emerge and present itself. You hear that bird? Here you will find your inspiration. Okay. I wonder what kind of bird that is. So the vision is with look up at the sky. Look at the sky is the vision. I would sense that's when you're grounded on the earth, right? You have both feet on the ground. Although I sense your hips on the ground is probably helpful too for grounding, right? Especially women, that's the center of our gravity, right? The center of our being is at our hips. So men actually probably need to lay down more on the earth so that their shoulders are there, so that they're more centered and grounded. I wonder if that has to do with meridians. Okay. That's what I'm seeing, these certain meridians. Let's see, Virgo. So we have adaptation and gain. When you were 35, when you were 53, or when you'll be 53. It's hard to love yourself as much as you love others, right? To be of service to yourself. To serve yourself as if you were your own authority. Something takes something really good to actually, how do I see this? Well, I guess I'm seeing like what it takes. Whoops. What I'm seeing is like what it takes to actually do something. It doesn't take as much as a person thinks. Like they already have it within them. They already have it. But they think they need another thing. something else. But it's like, no, you got it. You have it. A lot of this has to do with a feeling of emotion, like emotional security, which is interesting. Your neighbor and the one again that was originally, did I share that with you yet? Where Libra was the one outside looking at the clouds. And then they tell Taurus, hey, no, that's a black cloud. No, that's smoke from a fire. They're distinguishing things. When it's necessary, Taurus goes within. And then that Taurus turns into Pisces, and they are the ones that wait out the storm patiently and are the ones that decide whether they should go back outside or not. Once that energy goes outside, again, these internal parameters, then Pisces becomes Virgo, and now we're out in the light. But you still have to go through the lesson of getting out of the darkness of that box, which is so interesting. Libra had this person in a box, and still going and sitting again in the shadow, and then having to come back into the light. As we're saying this is the Queen of Pentacles and the Five of Pentacles, and they just switch places. Like the Queen, to me, is about emotional security. I feel safe in this life, in this body. Hi. I love the woodpecker. They let you know when there's bugs around, right? They let you know when the weather's changing. They can pick up on things, that they can't see, but they know exactly where to be. And mostly where to be to remove the thing that is interfering with the growth of something, so that not only that thing can survive, but that which it's a part of its own system, right? It goes wider than that. This could be a beautiful lesson in relation to like a mother wound also, or just it's emotional wounds. It's like I think someone's finally softening at least a little bit, or at least at this time, Virgo, because you're pretty deep to me. You go high and low like Scorpio, right? But it's easier for you to go low for whatever reason, meaning be small or like not feel worthy. Five of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles. Now, it isn't always in this material world being Virgo, though, right? Or at very least, there's always something about that. Because to me, Virgo's already renowned in another life, particularly having to, like, you've written some book, or you've done some studying, or was some kind of healer or doctor, or it's like you've done a lot, I heard, of what you already do. So you don't have to try to, like, outdo yourself. And I think that's part of where that perfection comes in, is maybe in this life you can relax a little bit. It doesn't have to be so very serious. It's like serious in different ways, if that makes sense. Okay, let's see what Zumi has to say. Hi. Nice to see you. Oh, this one. Nope, not yet. There we go. Perfect. Look, she just showed up. Integrity, Virgo. You got that. To me, when this card shows up in this deck, it means you're on the right path, that you have the right spirit about things, that there's growth and sustainability that you don't have to worry about because of the hard work that you've already done, because of the digging and the planting that you have done, the amending that you have done. And I know sometimes it's a little gritty. Sometimes it's especially in the mind, right? I feel like, you know how Cancer is to me it's the pearl, right? So the clam or what have you tries to eat, the sand gets in there and makes a pearl. I feel like you have pearls in your mind. But sometimes it's just sand, and it's like, I guess it's just got to wiggle around. And maybe you feel like the more information you take in, the softer this pearl becomes. And so you busy yourself to try to calm it down. So maybe a pearl would actually be helpful, right? I don't know. Something really smooth for you to touch, Virgo, that comes from the sea. That's Pisces, your opposite. I feel like that would be helpful for you, even if if it was something you could just pick up once in a while and like hold, especially when your mind is getting too fast. Does that make sense? Or like it's stabbing you. Do you know what I mean? Because the iris is so soft, right? This is a very watery flower. It's a very watery plant. It's sturdy, but it's mostly water, like a tulip. So I heard trust what you have planted will grow, inshallah. Now, I don't see everything growing always, because things have to take turns. And maybe when you see a yellow flower, or when the irises come up, or when that time frame is too. Scorpio talked about like when, maybe you know actually, when does it rain in the desert? Like, meaning, I would suppose this is when, the question would be, when do the flowers bloom in the desert? Because that's a time frame too. I also see hold your integrity now until June. I mean, hold it always, but particularly, like, I think that's a part of things is, I heard, who am I? Honesty. Who am I? Yes, and and you see, there's two birds in this, right? It's not, you don't have to be afraid to say who you are as if something's going to leave. I want you to have confidence. If something is not in your life right now and you wanted it, I guess still have confidence, because if you really needed it right now, I suppose God would give it to you. So if there's a few things that are uncomfortable, which I'm sure because you're a human, then go easy on yourself in ways of your healing and patience in your mind. And I'm seeing a person again with that pearl in their hand. King of Swords, yes. You to have authority over your own mind. Saturn really helps you, or will be helping you in the difference between objective and subjective choices. So I heard, don't worry. Okay? And I see, say thank you. Remember to say thank you even when it hurts, because no matter how low, you always come out of it. Right? It's just we forget sometimes when we can't see, or when we're too much in the shadow. We can lose the clarity. And I guess if it ever, the clarity also isn't there again, remember to, in too much stress, again, I see the pearl and look up to the sky. I mean, we just sat for 20 minutes. That's a nice break. You deserve that. Okay? I'll talk to you later. I love you so much. Thanks for those of you who went over to Gravy Basket too. Weird place. I like it though. All right, I'll talk to you later. Peace out.